All right, shalom, shalom. I want to give all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. Yahweh is the Heavenly Father, and Yahweh Shai is the Son of the living power, the Messiah, which these are the true names of the Most High, and His only begotten Son in the ancient Hebrew tongue, and Lashon Kodash, which means holy language. Also want to give double honors to the elder apostles, to the elder bishops, to the upcoming elders that rule well, that teach well, of Great Millstone, which I'm not of Great Millstone, but I do believe these men to be the true prophets and teachers that the Lord have positioned, to be a peacemaker, and, teachers, of this knowledge and understanding. I want to give peace and blessings onto the house of David, onto the elect, onto the 144,000, whoever they may be, and salute shalom to the fellow laborers pushing His truth. My name is Zakaria, and the focus of this lesson is ultimately concerning prophecy. That's the focus of the majority of my lessons. Prophecy for the purpose of warning, edifying, and, exhorting onto righteousness, onto salvation. Which when, coming into this thing, coming into the truth, into this thing called the truth, into this faith, you learn, really, when you come into the understanding of this Bible, man, you learn the bitter reality, the bitter, truth of this existence. You learn that, the Lord have not only dealt good, or shall I say the Lord don't only deals out good, He deals out evil. In fact, when you go into this book called the Bible and truly get the understanding of it, and truly read it, you understand that it's not only, a good news contained in that book, but you also have a really evil reports, bad reports, warnings and threats, and this is something that is hidden from the world, that is hidden from, the knowledge of the people. When they think about the Bible, they just think about the good news. No, it's not always, it's not all good news in this thing, in the Bible, man, in the scriptures, in the truth. In fact, to prove that, let's go to the book of Ezekiel real quick. Ezekiel chapter 2, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Ezekiel chapter 2, verse 9. It says, "And when I looked, behold, an hand was sent unto me. And lo, a roll of a book was therein. And that book is this Bible, is these scriptures. And He spread it before me. And it was written within and without. And there was written therein lamentations and mourning and woe." And that's what this Bible contains. Words, warnings of war, warnings of danger and death and destruction, warnings of nuclear destruction, warnings of famine, warnings of depopulation, mass depopulation, warnings of so many bitter and unpleasant things. And these same warnings are the warnings of the Most High, so they are sure and will be fulfilled. Because the Lord is not a man that He should lie, first of all, nor is He a man that should go back on His word. And this is what we are learning and understanding in His faith and His truth. Bowing down our ear to the prophets, we are being taught these things, that we are able to ultimately, first of all, fear the Lord, and fear His word, and depart from evil, and hide ourselves and really in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, in a stronghold, in a faith, in a hope, you know, in a way that is good, that we are able to be protected and preserved during these times or during the fulfillment of these warnings, you know. And one of the main warnings is what? Warnings concerning World War III. Nuclear destruction, nuclear war, mass death and destruction due to this armed conflict. And this is some of the main prophecies. In fact, the word prophecy means to say before, But anyways, the Lord is bringing forth, these different, visions, man. Wars and rumors of wars. And that's what's playing out now. You have earthquakes in diverse places, pestilences. We are coming into the beginning of sorrows. Some may even say we are in the beginning of sorrows. And it's only going to become more and more extreme and intense as we go forth. And there's been reports coming out recently, concerning this war between Russia and Ukraine and NATO. Reports of, America, Washington, and NATO is giving, the green light, to Ukraine to use NATO missiles upon Russia, and it's a whole thing. Go look into it yourself, be informed yourself. It says Putin to U.S. NATO, you let Ukraine attack deep in Russia, we are at war. And that's what Ukraine is preparing to do with NATO and American missiles, if I'm not mistaken. And this is, NATO's response to that, preparation. Like, if you do this, if you come into our territory, and attack these different important places and areas, of our infrastructure, then you are officially, U.S. and NATO, you are officially at war with us. And this is what Russia is basically saying. It says Putin to U.S., NATO, you let Ukraine attack deep in Russia, we are at war. Putin warns that NATO and the U.S. will be considered at war with Russia if Ukraine is allowed to use long-range weapons against Russian targets. He claims that this will change the very nature of this conflict and force Russia to respond accordingly. The warning comes as Zelensky pushes for the more advanced weapons during meetings with the U.S. and UK officials. Let's read more on that. Putin just said that Russia would declare war against the U.S. and NATO if Zelensky is allowed to use long-range missiles inside Russia. It will mean that NATO countries, the U.S., European countries, are at war with Russia. And you get the point. I'm going to play that video in a minute, but you get the point. The Lord is bringing forth these visions. Matthew chapter 24, verse 27. Matter of fact, verse 26 says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. And that's what we're seeing now. And it's going to only be increased. The threat of war is going to become more intense. It says, see that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And this is not the end, but we're coming into the beginning of the end. And this is ultimately a sign that Yahweh Shai, have told us beforehand to watch out. And these signs and these different events taking place on earth, the Lord is using to, really warn his elect, and be, be cautious of the end, of the end of the world. Because before the end, before the great end, there's different signs and effects that have to precede, that have to come before, So before the end can come, you got these different signs and effects and different events that have to come in order for the end to come after, And this is what Yahweh Shai said, Matthew chapter 24, verse 32. Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. And the branch is tender now. And that's just a parable, basically expressing that when we see these signs play out, when we see these different things happening on the earth, geopolitical wise, or environmental wise, or well, let's say, in this case, geopolitical wise, if we see these things, we are able to recall these scriptures to mind and say to ourselves, okay, the end is nigh. So these things these different events are a indicator of the end, just like a tree, a fig tree, when its branch is tender and it start bringing forth leaves, that summer is nigh. That's an indicator of summer. Well, in this case, the increase of nuclear conflict, rumors of wars, what's happening over there with NATO, Russia, and Ukraine. That's an indicator of the end of the world. Even though we are not at the end, but it's an indicator of the coming end, It says, so likewise, when ye shall see all these things, and when you see these different visions, these different signs and tokens and events, that is written in the scriptures for us to know. It says, know that it is near, even at the door, the end of the world. Right? The end of the world has been at the door for a long time. How much more now? So it's at the door. It's about to come in. The great tribulation, Jacob troubles, it's coming, man. It's at the door. It's holding onto the doorknob, man. About to walk in. And we have to, be in preparation mode. In fact, let's go to the book of Matthew real quick. Not Matthew, I'm thinking about the scripture in hand. I'm in mind, Salakia. Let's go to Ephesians. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 15. And your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. So you gotta let this word, this truth, prepare you, make you ready mentally, and fix your life, reform your life, reform your way of life, your man, just let these things rule your heart, rule your thoughts, and rule your life. These scriptures, man, because with this truth, with this gospel, and you're good if you have it, if you obey it. In fact, let's get this real quick. Let's go to the book of Psalms real quick. Psalm chapter 112, verse I could really start at verse 4. It says, "Unto the upright there ariseth light in the darkness." And yeah, what was that light in our darkness? As far, in a sense, darkness meaning what? Deceit, our ignorance, our wickedness, our captivity, our low state. That's our darkness, our punishment, because we are in captivity. We're under the hand of our enemies. So that's our darkness, along with the ignorance and the deceit and the lies we've been told, and the indoctrination and just the being deceived. That's our darkness. Or that's the dark situation that we're in. It says, "Unto the upright there ariseth light in the darkness." Yeah, this truth was manifested unto our eyes. Our eyes was enlightened. We were enlightened, illuminated. It says, "He is gracious and full of compassion and righteous. A good man showeth favor and lendeth. He will guide his affairs with discretion. Surely he shall not be moved forever." I'm going to get to the point. Surely he shall not be moved forever. And yeah, you elect, you're not going to be moved. In the midst of national chaos, national havoc and war and insecurity, whether it be in the form of, World War III, Civil War, which really that's not national, that's civil, but, the crash of the economy, you're going to be good. You're not going to be moved. It says, or famine or whatever, it says, "Surely he shall not be moved forever. The righteous shall be in everlasting remembrance." Yeah, and the Lord will always remember his elect. Have respect unto his elect, meaning what? Acknowledge them, look back at them, He shall not be afraid of evil tidings. And this is the point I wanted to get. So you elect, you really shouldn't be afraid. If you, have been seeking that good thing, that good part, which is this word, seeking Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. And, if you remain in Yahweh Shai and remain in that way of peace and pleasantness, then you have nothing to fear, man. These evil tidings, whether it be rumors of wars, news reports of World War III, of famine or pestilence, or the economy crashing, of insecurity or whatever. Hey, man, this not going to make you elect afraid, man. It says his heart is fixed, trusting in Yahweh. So, we're fixed on what? Our heart is fixed on what? This truth, on his faith, on his hope. His heart is established. He shall not be afraid until he see his desire upon his enemies. Yeah, y'all, the elect, y'all believers, your heart is being established by way of this counsel. This is what's establishing your heart. This is what arranging your hearts. And the desire upon our enemies is what? The downfall of Esau, Edom, the destruction. But I'm going to close off on that, Lord willing, lessons edifying. I want to give double honors to the elder apostles, to the elder bishops, to the upcoming elders that rule well and that teach well. Peace and blessings unto the elect. And all praise and honor and glory be to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. Shalom.